Good morning. This is Al with Ginnin Cotton. It's good to be back with you. This is going to be our May podcast. We are running a little bit late. My kids have, my daughter graduated her 8th grade year, qualified for state rodeo and missed nationals by 1 point. My son qualified for high school state rodeo. And so we've had a lot of traveling, a lot of places that we've been since I've talked with you last. Today I want to talk to you about the gin stands, and we're going to do that in 2 parts. We do have a group that is going to sponsor one of the parts of our gin stands, and so we'll talk about them in a little while. But I want to get into what's happening out here in West Texas. Remember, I am between Lubbock and Midland. Pumpkin Center Gin is where I'm at. I've owned the gin for 27 years. I've worked in the cotton gin since I was 14 years old. So those of you that haven't seen these the prior talks, that's a little bit about me. I was raised in South Texas. And I got up here. I came up here to West Texas, and I bought the gin in 1999, September of 1999. So anyway, so not quite 27 years. We have on these podcasts gone through the things that we do in a gin to get cotton ready to be able to be processed, for the lint to be removed from the seed. So the processing of that happens in the gin stand. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I will have some pictures posted, and some of the things that we show will reflect the things that are happening in a gin stand. We have had great rains. We're in a good situation to have a good crop this year, which could be the first time to have a really good crop in 5 years. So we're excited about that. And once we start getting to the gin season, when we're running, I'll be doing videos of the machinery running, and we can go through some of this stuff, and we'll see all these things we've talked about this year and how they happen in the gin. So we'll talk about all this, and then starting the season, I'll be videoing the trucks picking up the modules. I'll video our module books. I'll video how we tag these modules, how we tarp them. It'll be really interesting. Instead of just listening to somebody talk, we'll have some actual video of these processes actually happening. So you have your cotton season that has already started in South Texas. I read where the first bale has already been ginned in Texas. Normally it starts very far south and works its way up here. So we are in West Texas. So we are one of the, as I'm talking about it, it's raining on my window. What a neat deal. But we'll go through this and break it down to where it's very understandable. Okay. So today we will jump into the gin stands. So there's a big argument in the gin world, especially of us that are historians. When you're taught in school, you're taught that Eli Whitney invented the gin stand. The gin stand, or they say the cotton gin, if you will. Well, that's what we call our gin stands. The gin is actually the process of removing the lint from the seed. So when a cotton plant is growing, it makes a bowl, and then it opens up. And the outer part of that is very hard, and we call that the burr. It's sharp on the ends. And so when you hear of people that were harvesting by hand, those burrs would cut their hands. Now we do it, of course, mechanically. So when this thing opens up, then you have a fluffy cotton plant, or a piece of cotton, ball of cotton, but it's not like what you see in your aspirin bottle. It's a round ball, and there's several locks per bowl when it opens up. And inside that cotton, incorporated inside that cotton, is the seed. And in that seed, or on that seed, especially in what we consider our upland varieties, a fuzzy seed. But that seed is fuzzy only when we remove the lint from it. So if you will, that lint is essentially a part of that seed. It's kind of like there's 4, 5, 6 seeds per lock. And so, there's going to be probably 5 or more per lock. But anyways, what happens is so some of y'all bear with me because I'm a mechanical guy. So I'm not an agronomist. So some of these things I'll need to double check. But I love the machinery. I love things about that. I don't know that I've ever actually sat and counted how many seeds are in a log of cotton. Okay, so bear with me. I know there's some of you guys are going to have a comment about that. But anyhow, so you've got this little ball of cotton, but it's got all these little hard seeds in it. We got to get those out. And to mechanically extract those is very labor intensive. So Eli Whitney supposedly invented this process. But in the history world of cotton gins, you have an opposing view. So in history, you're never taught the name Henry Ogden Holmes, but in the history side of cotton gins, those of us people that are kind of weird about history, this is something new, or this is something that's debated. And so there's some timelines in there. And so the people that talk about it say Henry Ogden Holmes actually invented this cotton gin. He had a caveat, which is a expirable patent. And the day that his patent expired, Eli Whitney, who worked for an attorney, knew this expired. And so the day that the caveat expired, Eli Whitney filed for a patent on the cotton gin, thus therefore removing Henry Ogden Holmes from his claim to fame and taking into a new history of Eli Whitney being the inventor of the cotton gin. Is that true? I don't know. You can find lots of stuff debating that. I've sat in classes that talked about that. Regardless, just a little bit of fun trivia on the cotton gin. So what I want to talk about on the cotton gin is, so we have gotten there, the gin stand, if you will. We've come down the feeder, and so I'll show you some videos to where the cotton's rolling down on this open apron, and then it drops into the gin stand. The gin stand has a saw that's sitting here, and it's got a seed roll above it, and it's kind of got a kicker, if you will. So that cotton drops down, and it goes into that kicker, and that kicker drops that into the saw. So the saw is protected by a set of ribs. So that saw is sitting here, and it's turning, and these ribs are kind of a guard over that saw. It provides two purposes. So when the saw goes up through the ribs, it can grab that cotton. Keep in mind that cotton's long and fluffy. Well, it grabs that cotton very aggressively. There's a big throat on that saw blade, and it'll reach in and grab that cotton, and it yanks it. And as it yanks it, the seed is not big enough to go through that rib. And it hits it, and it rolls it up, and it sits up here, and it rolls around, and it makes this long tube, and we call that a seed roll. And that seed will sit there and be cleaned little bit by little bit. So we're still adding new seed to this roll. And as the seed roll sitting up here on the top, we're plucking off little pieces. And when the seed becomes clean enough, it drops down into an auger. And that auger moves that seed out to another location. So that's not the part that I want to get to today. Today I want to talk about what happens with that lint, which is now you have seed cotton. You have seed cotton that comes down the apron, and it drops into the gin stand, and then we make two products. We make lint, and we make cottonseed out of that one product. So that seed cotton that we're dropping in there becomes two products in the gin stand. It becomes cottonseed, and it becomes lint. So ideally, the reason we're growing cotton is for the lint, right? So we're wanting the lint to make clothing and underwear and things like that. When this cotton is pulled off, or the lint is pulled off the seed, it goes down and through a tube in the back, and it goes out the back of the gin stand to where it goes to another machine called a lint cleaner, where we clean the cotton and comb it a couple more times. So I want to digress a bit. That's a little bit to understand. So I'm probably going to stop right there. I'm going to send some photos. I may have some videos. Since we're not ginning, I don't necessarily have all that. But I may have some from last season of the cotton falling into the gin stands. So we're going to stop right there. So as we do things, and also keep in mind, my gin is called Pumpkin Center Gin. I give a giveaway. If you ginned cotton with Pumpkin Center Gin last year, then your name has gone into a bucket. I pull out a name. I don't tell you who it is. I call the person who wins it, and then I will get them this gift, thanking them for ginning with Pumpkin Center. This gift is provided by Pumpkin Center Gin and DJI. DJI, we call them the gin stand guys. DJI are the guys that help me repair my gin stands. As you can imagine, there's a lot of fine details that happen on a gin stand that needs to be kept in check, and these saws are stacked individually on a shaft. So DJI are the ones that help me on my gin stands, my ribs, my bearings, my saws. So they're very good about helping us. So I've got my list here. Okay, I got it. So I'm going to jump over. I'm going to finish this. We're going to wrap this one up. And then I'm going to jump on over to the next part of the gin stand. So y'all bear with me. This is the May. We're going to do the June just right here directly afterwards. And we will get back with you. Thanks for joining Ginnin Cotton. Y'all start watching us and liking us. I wanted to tell you we had some really exciting news. We've had over 72,000 views on some of these. So some of these are starting to gain momentum. It's starting to go. There's things that people don't know about on a cotton gin, and people don't even know we still exist. So thank y'all for watching. This is kind of fun, and for me to kind of let you know what our lives are like. But anyways, y'all bear with me. I'm still learning, and as we do this, I'll get better and better. As you can see, I've been gone so much that I haven't changed into my set studio yet, but we're getting there. Thanks for watching Ginnin Cotton. Have a good day.